So let's analyze GBPAUD. So I always talk to my people about zooming the chart. Okay, whenever you open a chart and you find it something like this, you would have to zoom the chart very well. Zoom it very wide like this to see the candlesticks. Okay, mind you, you are trading the candlesticks regardless of the strategy you are using. You are trading candlesticks. Okay, so you need to see the candlesticks that are forming so you know what to do next, because the candlesticks actually tells you the price action at a particular time. So you need to zoom up and then understand the candlesticks that are forming. So before, you may see your chart somewhere like this. Okay, when you open your chart, or something like this, and always you are going to only pay focus to the current price action. The current price action. You don't scroll back so much. Okay, just the current price action, and then you are good to go. So all I do is that I get to know the direction of where the market is coming from on the higher time frame. Okay, so on the weekly and daily, you see that the market is very bearish, forming more series of lower highs and lower lows to the downside. Then we tap into this significant support level. Okay, but that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about zooming up the charts. So once you open up the chart, make sure you zoom it up so you can see all the candlesticks clearly. Then afterwards, you switch to the lower time frames to do your markups or to do your analysis. Okay, regardless of the strategy you are using, I always suggest that you take your entries on the lower time frame, because that gives you a smaller lot size. Sorry, that gives you a smaller stop loss, and then you will get a big risk to reward. So I mostly pick up my trades on the 30 minutes time frame. That's a special time frame for me. Alright, so on the 30 minutes time frame, that is the markup I have or I made on GBPAUD over the past weeks. Okay, so every level you see me marking, I pick those trades. Okay, once I mark a level, it means it aligns with my strategy. So therefore, when price reaches there, I have to pick that trade. As to whether it goes south or it goes north, I still have to pick that trade. All right, so GBP over here, we saw on the higher time frame, we knew that price was still bearish. Okay, and then on the lower time frame, we saw a major break. Okay, at this point, okay, then you could confirm that the market was going to be bullish. When market dropped to this side, you definitely have to look for anything that could hold price to the upside. Okay, anything that can hold price to the upside. And then I figured out this demand zone. Okay, I noticed this demand zone because it broke structure to the upside, right? The reason why I marked this demand zone. Price tapped in, we started going to the upside. But I was still having it in mind that we are still bearish, so therefore we need to come to this zone. So I was still looking for sales opportunities. When we look at this particular point, upon price reaching this level, when price reaching this highs, this particular level, okay, I was so much anticipating that we could get a drop from this side. Okay, let me mark it. We could get a drop from this supply zone over here, but I got wigged out. Okay, I think I got wigged out. Sometimes when price gets to your PY, this is what it actually do. First, you need a liquidity. So once price sweeps out that liquidity, then it's now drop. Okay, then you can have your entry at that same level. So this is what actually happened to me. Where my This is where my entry was. Okay, I was looking at this POI, but the price wicked above it, and then later went inside before the major drop. So that is what actually happened to me on this particular setup I had. Okay, so that's that. So price um, made a break of structure. Okay, most of the time I want to see price breaking structures to the downside. Sometimes I'm very flexible. Okay, very flexible on my own terms. So I look out for two times breakouts or one time breakout. So for two times breakouts, I considered this one. This was a breakout for me, and the major push to the upside was from this level. So another breakout. Okay, so then I consider this as a liquidity. Okay, so once I have a liquidity, um, it is a valid trade for me. And liquidity over here is sometimes the nearest move that gets to the POI because it creates a resistance. And once it creates a resistance, there will be a lot of orders there, a lot of retailers will be wanting to sell from those areas. Therefore, um, thereby putting their stop loss above, okay, above their orders. And this is where institutions also target to go inside, clear all those stop losses, and then now drop to the downside. So price drops to the downside. Here I couldn't get any buy entry. Okay. But I shared this sell setup to my community. This one. I shared this setup to my community. I shared these two. Okay. The price will either mitigate any of them and then we sell. So this is what actually happened. Price created this supply zone. This on a higher time frame, you will not see this. So it's called a flag limit, okay, or a hidden engulfing. So this became a liquidity for me. Okay, so we had this liquidity. Sorry. We had this as our liquidity. Price tapped in here and failed to come down. That's found this engulfing, hidden engulfing again as a flag limit, just as I showed you over here. The same thing has happened over here, but I couldn't pick this trade because I was still hoping that price would come down more. By the time I realized trade was back to my entry, then I had to close on break even because I was still expecting price to come to this larger POI and then drop huge. So that is what actually happened. Price tapped in here, pushed more to the upside. The same thing happening over here. Came back to mitigate this other block here and then finally tapped into the zone. So as price tapped into the zone, let's see if you had a break of structure. Yes, we had a first break of structure. I told you I always speak of a two times phase, two times breakout. Okay, I had a first breakout. Then I had another breakout. Okay, and my breakouts are very valid. Okay, when I say valid, I mean they are breakouts on candlesticks. Okay, not wicks, but I do consider both. Okay, I consider either a wick breakout or a body breakout because on a wick breakout, when you go to the lower time frames, you see that there is a candlestick. So I do not disregard wick breakout. Okay, every week also creates a new price. So once I had this, I was confident enough to pick this trade as well. Okay, I was confident enough to pick this trade. I was confident enough to pick this trade as well. So price kept on selling to the downside. Okay, and let me see. I had a buy at this point. Okay, was this buy at this point, but I got out so early. This buy, okay, I got out so early. Reason being that price came to this level, okay, this a support level that became a resistance, forming as a neckline, okay. So as price got there, I quickly stepped out because I was thinking price was going to sell, and eventually it did. It sold. Okay, so I got out from my buy and closed all my trades. So price coming here, we still had another valid entry point, which also broke structure. That's why I deleted this zone. So it also broke structure from this particular level. Okay, broke structure created this liquidity, and price finally tapped in and dropping so hard. Dropping so hard and mitigating this zone, we had a break of structure too as well. We had two times break of structure. We had this one. We had this level breaking structure as the first breakout, and then we had a second one. Okay, breaking structures too as well. So once I have this, the next thing is to wait for liquidity, and then I go in. So this is what we have. Let me show you on the 4-hour time frame. I made a setup and then I shared to my Telegram community. So this was the setup. Okay, this was the setup. Okay, so you can see the screenshot of the previous one as posted on the screen, and then currently this morning I had price tapping into my POI and it's going to the upside. As it's going to the upside, I am only waiting to sell from this particular level because price is still bearish. We haven't seen any major shifts to the opposite direction. So the purpose of this video is to educate you on, or to advise you on zooming up your chart. You see, when we went to the lower time frame, if you zoom up your chart, it looks so beautiful, and then it's easily for you to spot out your entry point and exit point. But if your chart is so messed up, okay, if your chart is um, if you zoom in, sorry, if you zoom out your chart like this, it's very difficult to spot out some opportunities. So always make sure you switch to the lower time frame once you have gotten to know the direction of the market, and then you zoom up your chart. Okay, zoom up your chart. Make sure your chart fits the center of the screen. Some traders, you see them setting the chart to one side or the other end of the screen. Okay, make sure it's in the center of the screen. Then you'll be able to see potentials of the chart. You'll be able to see the top and down of the chart. Then you'll be able to capitalize on this trade. You'll be able to capitalize on any trade you see. This morning, I'm currently in a buy on this trade, and then I'm hoping that price gets to this particular level as I take my profits. There, the same moment I exit my trade. Okay. So that is that for GBPAUD. If you like this video, make sure you give a thumbs up. Like this video, you can share to families and friends or other traders who you may think may benefit from this video. And then as well, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Thank you all, and see you in my next video. Goodbye, and then best of luck.